An article published in the Christian Times magazine, issue 10, September 2017. An extract from the director's book, Mr. Clark from Fareham. David writes, Discipline Methods at Luton College. I tell of my conversion from crime to follow Christ in my book, Converted on LSD Trip, and also Borstal Boys, in which I explain how I educated myself and went on to higher education and graduated with a Cert Ed from Birmingham University in 1978. And I took up my first lecturing post at Luton College of Higher Education. This was my first lecturing post, and I was thankful to be given a council house at Lucy Farm in Luton, as I was an essential worker in the town. We were even given permission to keep our 2 goats in the coal shed. In fact, I had been a student there when it was called Luton College of Science and Technology. That was in 1966. The skills required to control the behaviour of some 20 or 24 students of ethnic backgrounds are many and various, and this can be rather daunting. I call this classroom management, which is not an inherent skill and it must be acquired. So let me tell you of 2 examples of discipline problems and how I managed it. During my time at Luton College, I taught many hundreds of students, assisting them to qualify with a City and Guilds qualification in electronic servicing. Many of these students were Muslims. Discipline, however, was not my strong point. How to keep control in a class of 24 students from various ethnic backgrounds was not an easy task. I adopted my own methods, one might say, a manic method. I learned this method when I was at teacher training, when I was training to be a lecturer. And we were only taught one method of classroom management. This was my training in classroom management. We were told by the course tutor at that time he had to teach craft students and wanted to assert his authority before they got out of hand. Craft students were noted generally to be awkward and difficult to manage. He decided this would make sure he would have no problems with them later on in the course. During the class, when he was teaching technical drawing, he asked one of the students to go out to the building site and bring a large plank of wood, a scaffold plank we'd say. When the student returned with the wood, the lecturer took it from him, with one mighty karate chop, broke the wooden plank in 2. He then proceeded to use the plank of wood as a ruler on the chalkboard, just as though nothing had happened. He did not say a word to the students. The students stood back in amazement at this show of strength and took it as a warning. This was this teacher's method of saying to the class, "Don't mess with me or you'll get what this plank got." I found this story rather amusing, and from this I was supposed to learn all about class management. With this limited knowledge, I took it that you had to find your own method of discipline in the classroom. So I decided to have some fun. One of the problems initially found was enforcing the college rules. One rule was no eating or drinking food in the classrooms. How do you stop it? Sweet papers were evident. Drinking cans, evident. So it went on whether they were allowed or not. Even when they were told, they still broke the rules. I decided I would sort this problem my way. I thought, if I couldn't beat them, then I would join them. So I made it a rule that if I found them eating sweets or food in the class, I would make sure they shared their food with me. I proceeded to do this. It soon got round that I was taking their food. Whether this stopped the eating problem, I do not know, but on this one occasion, the student got one over on me. I saw at the back of the class 2 students messing around under the desk, and their mouths were in operation. I stopped teaching. I went to the back of the classroom. Sure enough, A lovely, fat, juicy Mars bar was in Chavda's hand. Chavda was a Muslim. I had caught them red-handed. I said, "Come on, you know the rules, give it to me." Not without their protest, I took it from him and looked forward to a big bite. As I consumed this mouth of Mars bar, the rest of the class burst into laughter. They all knew, but I didn't. I discovered pieces of white tablets mixed in with the chocolate. They had laced the Mars bar with laxative tablets and got their own back on me. They were totally amused, and from that time on I had no real trouble. On another occasion I had some trouble with Chavda again and could not stop him from causing a disturbance in the class. I must have ruffled his feathers on that occasion. He threatened to sort me out. He was a Muslim, an Asian lad, about 17 years old, and I must have been about 30 years old at the time. Without much experience of dealing with this type of situation. In my determination to sort this problem out, I challenged him to do it in the boxing ring, thinking that would put a stop to it all. However, the class took this suggestion up, and he too went along with the idea. Yes, okay. Now, oh dear, I thought to myself, how am I going to get out of this one? I said they must go to the college gym in the lunch hour and ask if I could book the boxing ring for half an hour. This sorted the problem, and we all got back to work. They must have been looking forward in anticipation of this fight. Sure enough, off they went to the gym. During the break and shortly afterwards, I got a telephone call from one of the women gym teachers asking me what was it all about, what's going on. She said they were not allowed to do that sort of thing. I seized on this and said, "Oh, good. Please tell them that, and that will get me off the hook." They came back after break, feeling let down, as they were all looking forward to this boxing match. However, there was no Chavda. He wasn't there the next day either. I was told that he got wind of the fact that I was a welterweight boxing champion. So you see, someone got off the hook.